Hello music community, it's Andy, a cloudy, milder, your self-proclaimed metal mogul, with a collection update video this time around. Been a while since I showed any CDs, so I've got a good handful here, about 7 albums, one of those a tape, and I'm going to show you what I've added to my collection recently. 3 of these, I think 3 of these are 2021 releases, and there's one that I got as a VCLT as well. What we're listening to in the background is one of the new 2021 releases, and this is Varg One Man Army. It's kind of traditional heavy metal, influenced by Swedish bands like Grand Mega, sort of that epic, slightly doomy heavy metal sound to it as well. A lot of Iron Maiden in there too. Got this one off Bandcamp. I was alerted to this one by both Kevin Wargod and Bev as well. Kevin suggested it might be an album that I would be interested in. I checked them out on Bandcamp, and do you know what? I first heard the song and I thought, no, I'm not too sure about that. But I went back, checked it again, liked the song the second time around, and decided to buy the album. One of the reasons why I bought it was Varg is a one-man band operation, and the chap's name is Ollie, and he's I presume he's from Scotland, but he's also based in Scotland, and so that makes 4 sort of one-man Scottish band outfits that I kind of been following along with: Hellripper, Venom Wolf, and Oath SC, and all good bands. And this is good, chuggy heavy metal, and you can't go wrong with it. Varg apparently is Swedish for, was it Firewolf? Really killer stuff. So it's favourite tracks on here for me are Vulcan's Hammer and The Thunders of Mount Doom. Even ends in a massive sort of epic Between the Moon and the Stars, which is over 10 minutes long. If you want to grab one of these, they're only £10 on Bandcamp, and they're limited to 100, and I'm really glad I grabbed hold of one. Definitely worth it. It's the chap again himself, standing out in the field with a guitar, ready for action, as you'd expect. Now clearly, I mean, I love it when you buy things on Bandcamp. It's a lot more personalised. I did get a nice little note here from Ollie himself saying, thanks for buying your copy of the album. To have your support this early on is amazing. Yeah, I am. If you enjoy, get in touch and let me know your favourites. So, I've told you my favourites. What I'll do is I'll ping him and tell him to watch this video, because I get some shameless publicity then as a result of it as well. But yes, definitely Vulcan's Hammer, The Thunders of Mount Doom. Vulcan's Hammer is what's banging on at the back at the moment as well, but also Fist of Steel, To the Beyond is good. And So It Begins is instrumental that starts the album. That's excellent stuff as well. My only criticism would be there's a hidden track at the end. It feels like it's samples from songs, and it's sort of a cappella singing and stuff, and it's not bad. I just don't need to hear it more than once. But other than that, a very, very solid debut album, and one of I am actually glad I picked up, and even signed it as well, which is pretty cool. Now, he's obviously very keen to promote the album, and why not? So he sent kind of all these little cards, which I believe, now I'm not a digital streamer, but if you're on Apple Music, Spotify or Amazon Music, and you scan that code, if you could pause it and maybe scan it, I don't know if that'll work, but if not, check out that's not going to focus, Varg One Man Army at Focus on those platforms, or Bandcamp as well, where I got it from, so definitely worth checking out. Next one is another British band, and this is also a 2021 release, and this is Heavy Sentence, Bang to Rights on Dying Victims Productions. I seem to have got in the habit of, when I see, not collecting Dying Victims Productions releases as such, but when I see albums that I want, if they're available on tape, I've been getting them. So I've got about 9 or 10 Dying Victims Productions releases on tape, and this is really cool. This is kind of, it's speed metal, traditional metal, mixture of both. The vocals are ever so slightly blackened. They're not as harsh as, say, a Bewitcher or something. They're understandable, and they suit the music. But I've since found out, having heard this band and like it, so they're a British metal band, that a couple of the band members are familiar in other bands that I know. So there's Tim Horrocks, who's the guitarist, is in Aggressive Perfector, and Jack McMichael is in Eliminator, and they're both bands that I really, really like. And Eliminator and Aggressive Perfector are opposite scales of the metal spectrum, and this in some way meets in the middle of those two, so definitely worth checking out. Bang to Rights. Again, you can find this on Bandcamp, because you can't get Dying Victims Productions to send anything to the UK these days, so my ability to buy more tapes from them has dwindled since the Brexit. Our fault, but there's. Next up, At War with Satan from Venom. This was kindly sent to me by our very own Metal Mickey, part of the new wave of British heavy metal reissue series from BMG Sanctuary. It's their, I forget what year this came out originally. Is this 1983 originally? I think it might be, but it's a more recent reissue. As reissues go, it's too long. It's over 70 minutes, I think, with all the additional guff that you get with it. Oh, tell you what, you can hear how my my CD player is dying a bit at the moment, and the Varg is it's a CDR release. I'm gonna switch off, and it doesn't like CDR releases that well, but I have ripped it and got my digital copy that I play. But yes, let's go back to Venom, At War with Satan. I did look up the date before, but I can't remember it, so I'm going to look it up again just to show. It's 1984, not 1983. Now while it's not a concept album as such, it does only have 7 songs, and the first song, At War with Satan, is more of a concept side of a record. I believe that took up the whole of side A when it was originally released on vinyl. It's like 17 minutes long. One of the better songs on the album, though. Genocide is a great song as well. I mean, it's Venom. It's not, it's not cultured metal by any means, but it's good, raw, almost proto-thrash, but for the new wave of British heavy metal genre. The last title, Arg, is that's a throwaway track. That's no good. And all of the bonuses are 12-inch versions of pretty much all 12-inch versions of other songs. And they've split it in the middle with this At War with Satan TV advert, and I don't know if they put that one there just so you definitely know that you've finished the album and you're going to go into the bonus tracks, but I would have put that right at the end, because you never want to hear that again. That's one of those things that's like, okay, yeah, I heard it. Maybe a nice to have for really die-hard Venom fans, of which I'm not really, but this reissue was, 2002. So thanks, Mike, for sending that, and I do enjoy a little bit of Venom, and there's some really good tracks on here. But as I say, I would knock it off after the end of the album proper and not bother so much with the bonus tracks on that one. The next two, I bought them both from EMP. So I joined the EMP backstage club, which means I think you generally are supposed to pay £10 and then you get free postage on everything. So as long as you order at least 3 orders in a year, it makes sense, because you effectively get free postage. But Black Friday deal, they put the membership down to £5, so I grabbed that, but I wanted to order something at the same time, so I went for a couple of CDs on there. Sanctuary, The Year the Sun Died, was one I was missing from my collection. I hadn't actually heard this one before, fairly late to the Sanctuary party, but Refuge Denied soon became probably it's definitely in my top 25 albums of all time, maybe even my top 10 albums. It's an instant classic for me, even though it's 30 plus years old already. This one reminds me a lot of that. Okay, it's a lot more modern. So this is 2014 release. I think that's when it originally came out, but I will check. Yeah, 2014 it came out. For some reason I thought Warrel Dane had died a long time before that, so it's a lot more recent. Rest in peace, Warrel Dane. Fantastic voice. It's a lot more recent than I'd actually realised. But this album reminds me, it's closer, I think, to Refuge Denied than Into the Mirror Black, and I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. The Year the Sun Died, the title track, is a great way to end the album. Question Existence Fading, Rise and Purify, Frozen, I Am the Low. It's just a fantastic album, and Warrel Dane sounds absolutely superb on it. I much prefer the stuff that he's done on Sanctuary to Nevermore. I've not really clicked with Nevermore, but I've not checked out any of his solo stuff yet, so I will be doing that at some point. The other one I got from EMP was the debut album from Syria Angle, Frost and Fire. I think this has just recently had a 40th anniversary reissue, so maybe that's why they're selling off the 1999 reissues nice and cheap. So this is obviously an early 80s classic. Was it 81? I'm struggling with my dates. I thought I would keep them all in my head, but I've had a couple of beers, and that's me gone. It's a good job I've got the power of the internet in front of me to fill in the gaps that I am not able to do myself. I'm late with Syria Angle as well. So this is their first official album that they released, and it was 1981, so my memory's not failing me as bad as I thought. Killer artwork. I jumped onto Syria Angle with one foot in hell, and it didn't grip me the way I thought it would. From how I'd heard Syria Angle described to excuse me, hearing the band, it didn't twig so much. And the album notes on the reissue of One Foot in Hell I've got, so this is not a typical Syria Angle album, so I did want to check out some of the earlier stuff, but I didn't want to pay the vinyl prices, especially when the CDs are going for such a good price at the moment. But this is quality stuff. It's still very heavily 70s sounding for me, and for a band that was established in the 70s, that's no big surprise. But it does have a very sort of 70s metal feel to it, but it's pretty uplifting album. Edge of a Knife, my favourite track on the album, along with the probably the song that sounds least sounds like it doesn't fit so well on the album because it sounds more like an 80s track, is the bonus track Syria Angle that is tagged on the end, so a sort of band self titled song. That's a quality one as well, but it's a bonus track rather than one I think that was on the original album. But it's whetted my appetite to dive just a little bit deeper into Syria Angle again, and I think I'll try and get the King of the Dead on CD next and give that a spin. North Tail. I don't pick up too much power metal these days, and I'd never heard of this band until a few weeks ago, truth be told, but I still picked up this one on the release day. So I heard of North Tail. I was browsing on Facebook, and I saw a post from the Kai Hansen page, and he posted a video of himself saying that he'd been kidnapped by this band North Tail and forced to sing a song, and he was doing this video as though he just escaped from them. And that obviously tweaked my interest, and I got on and checked out the track that they had released with Kai Hansen on it, which is called Future Calls, I believe. And this is actually excellent power metal. I find a lot of modern power metal maybe too keyboardy, and I don't click with any of the symphonic stuff at all. This I wouldn't call symphonic. There are elements to it in there a little bit. It is very much Halloween worship. At times it's almost a clone, but at other times it does carve its own path. But also, my criticism with it is some of the songs are quite long, and they also meander a bit. You'll be getting really into the song, and it'll completely change pace, and then it'll almost have a guitar virtuoso piece thrown in there, where there's some pure shredding going on with it, and the solos don't really fit with the songs as such. It's pure self-indulgence by the sounds of it. But it is an excellent album. The first time I listened to it, I really enjoyed it. The second time I didn't, because I was focusing too much on the guitar wankery that was going on. But there's a lot of songs in it. It's only 65 minutes long as an album. That's maybe another criticism, that it's a bit long. Yeah, Future Calls is the song that Kai Hansen does the vocals, and also his son Tim does the solos on it. Eternal Flame is a great song. Ride the Storm. There's a cover of Judas Be My Guide on here, which is pretty good, not too bad. But Wings of Salvation, again, is very, very Halloween, but that's one of the songs that meanders a little bit on the styles. But 2021 release. You guys out there that are into your power metal, I would thoroughly recommend you give North Tale a blast, and maybe pick that one up as well. And the last album we'll show today is the debut album from Deathwish, At the Edge of Damnation. This is a British thrash metal band from the 80s. Well, this was originally released in 1987. This is the Dissonance Plastic Head distribution reissue from a couple of years ago now, 2016. It's a great album. It's not full-on American style thrash. It is more heavy metal meets thrash, but it's really good. I did want to get this one on vinyl, but it's just out of my price range at the moment. I did pick up the second album on vinyl, which cropped up in one of my 80s gear videos recently, and as and when the price of this one goes down in vinyl, I will get that and pass this one on. My only criticism is it uses this font, the same font as the logo and the album title, with the name of the songs, so it's really difficult to read, and especially, as with a lot of CDs, the lyrics are so small you can't read them, but also they do it in the same font, and it's the font is clipped, so the descender on each of the letters is cut off, so Y's look like U's and all sorts, so it's not a CD you will learn the lyrics from by any means, but the vocals are fairly clear, so you can pick it up and follow as you go along. But Deathwish, definitely unsung hero of the British thrash metal scene. Right, that's your lot for today. Got another couple of videos coming up next week, so you'll see a little bit more of me, whether you like it or not. Thanks, as always, for watching. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know you've watched. Let me know which of these albums that you like, or any other of your favourites from these bands. And I will see you again soon. Have a great weekend.